Hey ho, it's the Film Tangent Show. We have returned, this time with our third amigo back
Hey,
back in
hey.
business. Jack's back from the North Pole or wherever the hell he was traveling to over the past few weeks. But he's the point is we're back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back as a
Yeah. Sometimes it's
trio.
back.
Quavo, Offset, Takeoff.
Sounded like a Gucci Mane, yeah, from Edward, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gucci. He just released like a remastered edition of his Hard to Kill album, which that was the one that had Freaky Girl on it.
Mm.
And so I listened to that a few weeks ago, and that's a good solid album. Mostly Zaytoven production on there. Edward's colleague, Edward's
Yeah.
former
Say something.
collaborator. But
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. Edward's hot off of bravely killing a house centipede, I believe that was.
Yes.
Don't you
Yeah.
guys? Don't you guys just love it when you see a house centipede in your home?
And it was tricky. It was tricky how I got that thing actually. If I do say so myself, I had to get like I had to get a chair because it was like on the corner of the ceiling.
Yeah.
And I had to get a chair just to try to reach it, and even then I couldn't reach it. I couldn't
Yeah.
reach it. Even though I have a very like long wingspan, and I couldn't reach it.
Wingspan.
And so and so then I had to get like something else. I had to get like I got like a paper roll. I had like just replaced like the paper towels here in the kitchen. So I
Yeah.
got the old paper towel like stick thing, and I was like, I'm gonna try to get it with this. So basically, my approach to killing this thing is that I had to just like kind of like attack it
Yeah.
and get it to move closer to me, like downward,
Yeah.
and then I was able to kill it. So it was quite a process.
Ugh. And then you got to watch them run. They just look like this
Yeah,
bundle of
exactly.
fucking like.
Exactly. It was just like trying to get
Ugh.
away from me. It was a mess, but I got it. I did it. Now I can be at peace in the show, knowing that there's not something getting into my clothes or something.
Yeah, because you can't do anything with one of those things running around. You're just thinking about
No,
it.
just thinking about it.
The
You're just
word.
thinking about it. That's why whenever I lose a bug, like whenever I go to kill one and I lose it, it just fucking it messes with my peace so much, dude.
Oh yeah, you
It
turn into
disturbs my peace
you turn into
to such
Chuck
an extent.
McGill, like when he's trying to find the fucking electrical wiring. Like,
Dude, it disturbs my peace to no end. And then
yeah,
also after sightings of them, even if I successfully like kill it for like at least a few days, I'm still looking at being like, where are the other ones?
yeah, because you've
Yeah,
neutralized the target, but there might be more.
there might be more.
There might be
So my
more
body,
ops.
somehow I have to kind of come down from that state of like I have to fucking get these things.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. There's nothing. Oh, there's nothing worse than like losing one of those house centipedes in your house. I remember
Yeah,
there was one that was like the size of my fucking forearm. Not really, like the size of my whole hand though. That got away in my old house when I was younger. And dude, it's like you're living in a haunted house after that. You're just waiting. You know you're gonna see it again. You
yeah.
know?
Oh, dude, like that happened with me recently with a roach. Actually, over the
Oh
past like month,
yeah.
I tried to kill it, and then it went like under something,
Oh
you
hell
know,
no.
and so it was gone. It was gone, and so then it became like this ticking clock of like when will I see this fucking thing?
That's the worst when you lose it and you're just like, it's got to be somewhere here, but there's no
Yeah,
way to find it. And,
and the
and
answer is it was like a day later that it just appeared. It just came out, and then I got it.
Yeah. Oh dude,
Yeah.
it's the
But it
worst.
is, but like you said, Jack, it's the fucking worst. It's like that thing in How I Met Your Mother where like the slap, and like one of them has like a slap hanging over the other, and it's just like
Oh
constantly like when is
yeah.
he gonna slap
yeah,
me?
Oh yeah. I thought you were gonna.
Yeah,
I thought you at first. I thought you were gonna talk about the cockamouse from How I Met Your Mother.
yeah, there is a mouse too, but I was talking about the slap.
Yeah, it is like that. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, we had a bunch of them when we first moved into this house. Not roaches. We had house centipedes. I'd rather have house centipedes than
the roaches,
roaches.
yeah, absolutely.
They come in smaller numbers. You know, they eat roaches at least. You know, you only see like one or two of them here and there. You know, you never see
Yeah.
like more than one in one place. They're like solitary hunters. I was watching this. There's this thing on YouTube. This British guy. He kind of like sort of like Steve Irwin and Coyote Peterson, of that same ilk, right? And he's going down into this cave in the somewhere in the UK, and the floors, walls, ceilings are just covered in blankets of cockroaches, and then he goes. He's specifically hunting though for house centipedes, but in this cave they grow to like the size of your goddamn hand. Like they're like, you know, they're like a baseball. And he's just like, dude, he takes this rock and, you know, gets one on there, and he's like, I'm taking really great care not to let this thing touch me. And his like his fingertips are an inch from the thing's fucking face, you know, face. Those things can bite you too, apparently.
Yes.
It's like
Fuck that.
it's like a bee sting, kind of. I guess it's comparable. They have these. They're not even mouth parts. They're like modified legs, but they act like a mouth, and they'll sting you. Which I think is pretty uncommon unless you're handling them, which
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine. That's the worst though, when
Yeah.
they're on, like you described, when they're on the ceiling. That is the
Yes.
worst, because you're like, this thing could fall on me.
Exactly. It could fall on you. It could just do anything. Yeah. And at some point, I've learned to somehow steel myself.
Steal
You know, just
yourself.
kind of be like, it's gonna be like, you know, like metal. You know, like,
Ah.
you know, where I'm just, you know, you know, I'm like, you know, whatever happens. I'm not gonna freak out like a little bitch. Like I've managed to get to that place where I can deal with it.
Mm.
And if the worst happens, where the thing falls on me, I'm able to kind of be like, you know, like if something, like if it fell on me, like let's say like a roach fell on me or something, I would be able to grab it, and then like,
Like
and
kill it
then
with your bare hands?
yes, I would be able to do it. I would be able to do it, and then like throw it away, and then after the fact be very like disturbed. But while it's happening, I would be able to be like very like zen.
You think
Like,
so? I mean, you
yeah,
haven't
I think
tested
so.
this theory. You don't know if you
No,
can.
but I've tested it to an extent, you know, because I've grabbed like bugs with my bare hands before, you know, and like big ones. Like I've been able to, I've caught like flies with
Mm-hmm.
my hands.
Well,
Caught
yeah.
them, you
But
know,
to be
shit
fair, I
like
mean, a
that.
fly and a roach are pretty far off. I could
They're
let a
pretty far
fly
off.
crawl on me all day
Yeah,
pretty comfortably.
but I've caught them. You know, I've caught them, and I've caught them in such a way where I haven't killed them, so I could feel them moving inside my hand.
Yeah.
You know, I've dealt with like a level of like Jack's like what the fuck.
I mean, the fly. I'm just thinking of the same thing with a roach because it feels to me like crunching like a roach. Like it's not really like like a fly is like a smush. Like you're just like absolutely just smushing that thing, and it's just like
Yeah,
it's over. But a roach, I feel like just the tactile feeling of like
yeah,
crushing a roach, it would be like crunchy and then like
yeah.
freaking gooey and just nasty.
I
Like I
couldn't
just,
I
do
could
it.
do it.
ugh.
I could do it. I could do it. Because also
I
I've grabbed roaches with my bare hands before. I've done it.
I've never, and
When you were a
like I don't have
kid,
a problem
right?
with killing them.
Yeah.
Like
And
I
I
don't
would,
have a problem with
and when I was a
killing.
kid, I would grab them from their antennas, and they would like wiggle. They would go.
Oh,
So because of that, I have like an awareness of the sensation.
oh.
It's not super foreign of a thing, you know. I
I
could do it.
I was like a Steve Irwin wannabe when I was a little kid, and I like that was at certain points when I was little. If you asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, I would have been I would have said the crocodile hunter, Steve Irwin, something like that, you know.
Mm.
And so I would pick up bugs all the time, and but that changed. Like I can't. I'm not
Yeah,
it's for me now. It's like there's certain bugs I would, you know, be okay with handling, and ones I won't. And like house
yeah,
centipedes and roaches are definitely at the top of that.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, it's interesting because, and you're right. There's something about being a kid where you just grab bugs.
Hmm.
Like When I was a
lizards,
kid,
like
when I was a kid, there was nothing I wouldn't grab. I would grab lizards. I would
Yeah.
grab roaches. I would grab spiders. Like I would just grab everything. I would just grab them. And it's weird how at some point something triggers in your brain, and you're like why I'm never gonna touch that shit again. Which is funny because I've not grabbed a roach in my life probably since the age of maybe 9 or 10.
Mm.
It's been a long while. I still think I could do it, but I'm not gonna test myself. It would have to be something where like I would just have to do it. Like it's on me or some shit like that. And it's like I have to do this.
Yeah.
yeah,
Although my visceral reaction would probably be just to like
swat
you
it.
know
Yeah, that's what I was
swat it
thinking.
and not to
Swat it
fucking
and then
grab the
kill it
thing.
with
Yeah,
something else.
Yeah.
yeah. So there's that.
I can't imagine. I can't even imagine the roar that would come out of my mouth if a roach actually made physical contact with me in any way. I think I would.
Yeah.
I did though when I was younger. I went to this. I don't. It was one of those day camp thingies at the zoo. I went for a week, and one day they had those Madagascar hissing cockroaches that people keep as pets, and I was the only one there who held it, held them. And my
I've
mom,
done that too.
yeah, my mom was just like, "What the fuck?" Although I will say that the hissing cockroaches aren't as bad. I would rather hold those
They're
than
still
like the American
gross.
roaches because they
Yeah.
they have these like big fucking shells, so all the nasty stuff is all covered up.
Yeah.
But the ones that we have here, they just look like everything's exposed. They look like
Yeah,
fucking
it's disgusting.
creatures. Yeah.
Yeah, it's disgusting. It's just such a weird fucking creature. It's just a disgusting thing. It's fascinating because if you've seen Dragon Ball, Cell, the villain,
Hmm.
he is a fucking roach.
Is he like under
Yes,
the? Is he the one that kind of looks like a?
the
He's like
green guy.
white and let me look him up. Dragon Ball Z.
Look up Cell, like Cell. The fucking roach, dude.
Oh yeah, Cell. Okay, wait, Dragon Ball. I don't know if
Yeah,
I've
you're thinking
told
of Frieza.
Cell. You said I'm thinking of Frieza.
Yeah, Frieza's
Oh,
the white
okay.
one.
Oh, Cell. Okay, this guy. What? Like under the armor? He's Oh well, he does. Yeah, he has wings and shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like apparently the main motivation for Toriyama were like cicadas, but he just fucking looks like a fucking roach. He
Yeah,
looks like a roach.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
funny because you can look up Cell, Travis Scott, dude.
Travis Scott.
And, yeah, look up something like that, like Cell Travis Scott or some shit like that.
Cell.
No, it's not Cell. No, let's look up Travis Scott Batman. Look up that.
Travis Scott. Batman.
He fucking looks like Roach Man, dude.
Oh, when he dressed up as him.
That's Batman. He's
Dude,
brown.
yeah. What? Ew. He does. What the hell? Why is he
More like
brown?
fucking Roach Man, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
He got. It says dressing
He
up as
got bullied
Batman
off
for
of-
Halloween and getting bullied into deactivating his IG account. That's funny.
He looks like a roach, dude.
I'll tell you guys. I've probably told the story on the pod before, maybe, but if I did, it was a while back. But I'll tell you the because I agree with you. When you're a kid, there's just something there where because you're not fully evolved as a kid, so you don't know what to avoid. And humans are naturally averse to snakes and spiders and bugs and stuff because snakes are poisonous. Spiders and bugs can either be poisonous or carry disease. So that's why we have that natural aversion to them that we don't have for other animals. Like
Right.
no one has a problem with picking up a bunny, but picking up a beetle or something, that people suddenly have issues with it.
Right.
When there was a moment as a kid that clearly flipped. It was like it was a hard line between before and after, where it was before I would handle bugs, and after that moment I would not handle bugs. And the moment was, I think I was like in second grade, and I went on a Boy Scouts trip out to the woods, staying in log cabins and shit. And there was a this giant fucking locust. I mean, it was Hopper from Bug's Life, basically, just sitting on this
It
log, and I just went and picked it up, and
went bananas.
dude, the thing was like, it was just clinging to me normally, and then all of a sudden it like snags my pointer finger with its two front claws and
Mhm.
sticks the fucking tip of my finger into its mouth and starts chewing
Oh my
on it.
god, dude,
And I was
that's
like,
hilarious.
fuck,
They were food to that thing.
dude, it was the freakiest thing ever. It freaked me out
Yeah,
so much.
yeah,
And since
but,
then, ever since then, dude, I won't handle insects. Um, but anyway.
but dude, right? Like it kind of lines up. It could be.
Yeah. Um,
That's very that'd be very unfortunate.
um, anyway, movie of the week is, or well, not the movie of the week. The item of the week is the first episode of Severance.
Yeah,
Boys, what do you say we get into that, and then we'll continue with the tangents afterward.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
That works for me.
All right, cool. Yeah, so Severance, what, it came out in 2022, right? Something
Yeah,
like that.
it's a fairly recent show.
Yeah. It's funny though, I feel like I hadn't even heard about it until last year.
I agree. Yeah, something happened. I guess maybe like season two of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe 2022. I'm guessing season two might have been the peak of the show because that's like when there was like like wild conversation about it. Um, yeah, and it
Yeah.
was last year, season two.
Now, Jack, you've seen the whole show, right?
Yeah, I've seen the entire show, and then I rewatched the episode today just to kind of freshen it in my memory. But yeah, it was kind of around that time last year that season two was coming out.
Yeah.
Ended up starting watching it when I was hearing about it, and kind of just watched it from beginning to end, or end, because I think there's a third season coming
Mhm.
that they're about to start filming shortly. But yeah,
Nice,
I
man.
have a lot of love for this show.
Okay, I was gonna ask, like, what would you rank the show? Scale of 1 to 10, or like, is it a great show, good show, okay show?
I think it's pretty great just because there's not a lot of like things I've watched that are in this type of like genre. There's not a lot of like thriller shows that I watch that are really like get me in this kind of headspace, and just the whole concept of this show is just so fascinating, of just like, having a split, like work and split life mindset. And as you kind of progress into the show and see, how that dynamic changes, like it keeps you on the edge of your seat. So I mean, I would definitely probably give it a 7.5. I'd probably give it an 8. I really enjoyed watching this show.
Nice.
It kept me very invested, and uh, built some really good like uh, feelings towards like certain characters. And there's definitely a couple characters that I really don't like. But
Yeah,
yeah, great show.
nice. Yeah, it it's kind of funny. It kind of calls back to one line in Office Space where Peter is in the therapist's office and he asks the therapist, "Is there any way you could?" Or it's a hypnotherapist, and he asks the hypnotherapist, "Is there any way you could maybe just zonk me out so that I don't know that I'm at work, or I think I've been fishing all day, or that I just don't remember going to work." And
Yeah.
it's kind of funny. Like, I wonder if I don't know too much about the creator's inspirations for this show. I know, I think he was influenced by the episode of Black Mirror called White Christmas, if I'm not mistaken,
Okay.
which makes a lot of sense.
This it is. You are right.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense because the the whole concept of the person, the severed person, waking up, not knowing who they are, and having to answer these questions from a mysterious voice. That plays out almost identically in the episode White Christmas of Black Mirror. The only difference is instead of a severed thing via memory in Black Mirror. It's just a digital copy of the person that still thinks they're them. But it's like if you just woke up tomorrow inside of a computer, and you're like, but I'm me. And they're like, no, you're a copy of you. Um, that's probably the best episode of Black Mirror. It's between that and like the Star Trek episode, the USS Callister, I think. And definitely the scariest episode for sure. But Edward, why don't you give us start with your positives of episode 1 of Severance? I've been wondering what you would think about this show because
Okay.
I think I plan on catching up on it and finishing it. But
Okay, I want to list a few of the other like influences for this
yeah.
because apparently they said it was influenced by the Backrooms,
Oh
which again
wow.
is like a yes, and I thought about the Backrooms watching this. I was like, this fucking looks like the fucking Backrooms. And then
Whoa.
they said that it was influenced by the Backrooms, that it was influenced by Office Space, The Truman Show,
Mm,
Being John Malkovich, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind,
yeah.
and the Black Mirror episode White Christmas. Also, the comic strip Dilbert, for whatever reason.
Oh
Um,
shit. That's really funny actually.
yeah, but
All of
that's what
the
I thought. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say all those influences make so much sense. Like each one you listed off, I was like, yes.
Looking at the Dilbert comic strip, yeah, it makes sense. But yeah, so those are like the things that it was influenced by. And again, when I was watching it, I thought about Backrooms. So I was like, this is like, I was like, this is like the fucking Backrooms, which again is like really good follow up to the Backrooms movie on your behalf in terms of picks. Um, Positives. This is like the first Michael. What's the name of this actor actually? What is this dude's name? Adam
Adam
Scott.
Adam
Scott.
Scott.
Yeah, this is the first Adam Scott thing ever that I have seen in which I actually found him somewhat likable. Like, I don't like Adam Scott. Like, there's something about his face that has always been like very kind of like somehow like punchable,
Yeah.
like he's perfect in Step Brothers, because he's like you
Oh
just hate him,
yeah. I forgot he was in Step Brothers. Yeah.
and somehow his stepbrother's character always stayed with me. So every time I've seen him,
Yeah.
I just hate him. So I saw him in this, and I was like, "Oh fuck, it's fucking Adam Scott." And immediately, it was a challenge for me. It's Adam Scott, but I was able to navigate those waters, and by the end, I was like, "Yeah, I'm with it."
I might not
Um,
punch Adam Scott at this point. I
exactly.
might not
It was
break my
interesting.
TV before this is over.
Even if that's what his
Yeah.
boss was saying she wanted to do.
She wanted to like say, I too wanna, like beat him up or whatever. Um, so that's interesting. It's interesting that this is like Ben Stiller's show. Like this is like his show. He's writing a lot of the episodes and he's directing most of them. So I found that interesting.
Yeah.
Just like I said, you know, just like as an interesting jump off point because I've seen. Obviously, Ben Stiller's like a very creative guy, and he made Tropic Thunder. Like he wrote it, and he directed it, and he directed a few movies. And he directed like an underrated movie, The Life of Walter Mitty, which I think it's like an interesting movie. I think it's worth watching. So it's interesting just to kind of have seen some of his movies and then see where he's at with his show, his progression. Very subdued directing, I thought, and I actually appreciated that a little bit. Like it was not very show offy, and it made the show feel very adult because a lot of the shots were long shots. Like they would stay on that shot for like at least like sometimes like 20, 30 seconds, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. This is not like an ADHD like TikTok show where like they're just cutting like every 5 seconds you have to
Yeah.
cut to something else. So I appreciated like the trust in the audience in terms of like, there's enough interest here to carry you through this. So I appreciated that. I liked the cast. I like anything that has John Turturro. I'm like, okay, that's cool. John Turturro's here. I
Yeah,
like Patricia
he is like
Arquette.
a wild card where you see him once in a while and you're
He
like, "Oh,
is,
that guy."
yeah,
And then you remember some movies from your childhood and shit. Yeah.
yeah. So I appreciate seeing him here. I appreciated that Patricia Arquette's here. I've always liked Patricia Arquette. Um, and the episode was interesting enough to keep me going. Cinematography was nice enough, and the framing, and everything, and that's my positives.
Okay. Sounds
Yeah,
kind of limited. Sounds like you had some
yeah,
limited positives with this show.
I have limited positives. Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, similar to you, I really like, obviously the concept is really intriguing. It's a good high
yeah.
concept, idea that makes you think. It's nothing it's not a procedure I would ever fucking do, I'll tell you that. And it's got a solid opening, immediately kind of establishes a mystery there. Um I wonder what do you guys think, Adam? Let me ask you this before I uh keep listing positives, getting into some specifics here. What do you think Adam Scott's character, Mark, what was he crying about in the parking lot? Because there's
Well,
like a
we
couple
had
options to me.
yeah. Well, we had. I'm gonna speak no, because Jack's seen the show, but I'm gonna speak like from not knowing jack shit. You
Yeah.
know, because this is the only thing I've seen of this. I'm guessing, like if I were to guess, it would probably have to do with like seemingly he lost his wife, you know. So I'm guessing that it was that, like he lost his wife and he's like having like a tough time because this
Yeah.
this is what he's
Because
doing
that's why
his
he
job. Like
did the severance thing, right?
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Like in the text of the show, they say he did severance, or like I think he says it, or somebody says his sister says it that he did the severance procedure because that way he can just unplug and not have to live in a world where he knows that his wife's passed or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the crazy part about that too is like essentially his own self who is not working, like always has to deal with that. Like he doesn't get to
Right.
go to work to like
Yeah.
take his mind off of
It's
it.
like taking his mind off of things. Yeah. Yeah. Adam Scott should have watched Office Space and realized that there is growth in what do you call that, like what do you call that, like when you do something, when you are active for therapy, like that's like the therapeutic element of it, like you're active. um
uh I don't know.
what do they call that? It's like work therapy or like something therapy. I'll remember it. But it's like it's funny because it's like if you just get out there, it's like dude, go work construction or something.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the dude did an Office Space, and you'll get your mind off of things.
Yeah.
You start thinking about how much your back hurts and how hot it is. you know?
This ain't so bad, Roy. Out here getting a workout, making bucks. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's what I would have said too. At first, obviously not knowing anything about his character at the beginning of the episode, I thought to myself, is he
occupational therapy.
oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
I thought to myself at the beginning of the episode, oh, maybe he's crying because he's regretting this treatment and he knows he's got to, he's about to zonk out for a little while. But
yeah,
I agree with you guys. That doesn't, I ended up dispelling that for myself.
yeah. Because
Um,
he wasn't at odds with that throughout the like when we got to that part of the show where it was just his life.
yeah.
It seemed like his life just like sucked, and that he was not at odds at all with the work that he was doing.
Yeah. And he didn't seem to have any issue with the severance treatment. When he
Yeah,
talked about it, he didn't. It's interesting the denial that he was in a little bit, or maybe it's not denial, but it seems like there's got to be a little bit of denial there where he wasn't willing to engage philosophically with the idea. When people brought up the other you, he would say, "Well, there is no other me. It's just me." And it's like,
mhm,
well, it kind of is another you.
yeah,
I mean, there is
yeah,
another you. It's the version of you that has no idea who he is or like has no concept of anything outside of this office. But
yeah,
I
yep,
found that interesting that he was willing to or unwilling to engage philosophically with that idea, which
hmm
obviously that's by design. If he was, it would eliminate a lot of the need for storytelling here. I would guess that that's part of his arc, is
right,
beginning to engage with that on a philosophical level as the show
Yeah.
goes on.
But also you can kind of I'm just kind of thinking of this. It's almost like he can kind of like I was talking about how like him being severed kind of robbed him of the ability to take his mind off of it with work. At the same point, like in this episode, you see him just kind of being like a bum,
Yeah.
like just drinking, just
Yeah,
hanging
just
out.
drinking.
Since his other version of himself that he's severed is basically forced to work, he can just
Yeah,
be
exactly.
a bum. Like
Yeah,
he
he
just
can.
doesn't really have any accountability. He doesn't have to go to work. Like that one, his boss like is like, "Oh, you look like shit. You look like you're
Hmm.
hungover." Because like the severed version of him like just spawns in hungover, like
Hmm.
never having drunk or anything. So like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. It's like the ultimate. It's the ultimate uh horrifying version of that Jerry Seinfeld joke where he talks about Night Jerry and Morning Jerry. He's like, Night Jerry wants to
Yeah,
stay up.
you have to like pitch up though.
Yeah, Night Jerry wants to stay up, and he wants to stay up late, but Morning Jerry has to get up for work. So when Night Jerry stays up late, Morning Jerry is pissed off at Night Jerry because he's
Yeah.
tired. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Great Seinfeld impression.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. The higher you go on pitch, the better they get.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah. It's the ultimate version of that, though. In all seriousness, where his severed self is at the mercy of his real self because it's like he can't he can't decide like, oh well, I won't drink tonight. It's like, oh, whatever that severed self decides is what I'll do is
It's
where
like
I'll be
what's the
tomorrow.
name of that movie that we watched? The Substance, kind of like The Substance a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah, oh yeah, it is. I think
yep.
Blair
It's
might have
been before,
said.
right?
I think Blair might have made that comparison. Actually, someone did recently, but
Yeah.
that's that's so true. But going back
Yeah.
to my positives, yeah, very solid build ups. I really loved. I was very engaged when the character, the woman in the blue dress who wakes up at the beginning. I'm trying to find her name here. Helly, is that her name?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
R or something.
Yeah, when Helly, when she wakes up and she actually says, "I'd like to be let out of here," and she gets sent through that door. I mean, I'm like, I was on the edge of my seat, like, oh, thank God, there's a way out. She can get out. And then when she comes back in, I'm like, oh, fuck, damn it, dude. No, so I was very engaged with it. A very believable sense of existential horror was created in this show, in this first
Mhm.
episode. We've all done the corporate grind. We're all doing the corporate grind. We can imagine. And cinematography, camera work, directing, all that top notch. This show is one of the best examples of how cinematic television has become.
Yeah, for sure.
Like if you were to show a side by side comparison of like, this is what TV shows used to look like, and you took a
Mhm.
show like I don't know, Law and Order from the early 2000s, or even The Shield, which I love, but The Shield is very much filmed like a TV show.
Yeah.
Just what I would say with more, the cameras are more cinematic, so you kind of get a cinematic look, but everything else is just filmed very TV show esque. And then you put it side by side with something like Severance, and you really see how far television has come, even between like the late 2000s and the 2010s. I'll give an example. Another example. I remember watching after having caught up a long time ago on like whatever the latest season of Better Call Saul was at the time. And I in this particular season, you have the cameras, kind of floating very nicely through Los Pollos Hermanos. And then I remember just catching Breaking Bad on TV like a couple weeks later, and a scene opens up in Los Pollos Hermanos, and it's just like handheld, and it looks just shittier. And I was like, oh shit, that really is a difference, man. The TV just upped its game over
Mhm.
over the course of the years.
And I have to give them
Yeah.
props while you're at this. I have to give them props on this specifically for doing a few things like in camera, like because there's that effect basically like when he goes up and down that elevator, right? And it's like this difference between him at work and him not at work, and it
Hmm.
almost feels like they're like zooming in and out of him, right? But I think it's more so like it almost feels like they're doing like a lens change or something. Like
Yeah.
they're going from like a wide lens to like a long lens because he goes from like being like a like they goes like like he stretches when he's in real life or whatever, and then he like compresses like at work in camera. So I found that technique very interesting, very fascinating what they did there. I wonder how exactly they did it. Um, but yeah, it
Wow.
was very cool.
I got to look out for that next time I watch the
Yeah.
show.
Yeah, dude, he
Same.
went from that. He like went from like a like wide to skinny and then skinny to wide in camera, which is pretty cool. Because usually how you accomplish that again is just lens changes. It's like a wide lens or a long lens, and you get either like somebody either elongates or flattens, you know.
Right.
But they did that in camera in one shot, so I wonder exactly what they did to achieve that. But it was pretty cool.
That's wild. Yeah. Um, and then, yeah, I would say I build very, the main character is very solidly written. I would say, you immediately get a solid base of, who the guy is, why he's doing what he's doing, right? With the whole severance procedure, you get some sympathy in there for, he obviously lost someone, his wife, presumably. They don't
Mhm.
explicitly say, right? In the first episode?
No, they do.
They
Yeah, it's
do?
his wife.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. I didn't remember. It's been a few days and it's been a long fucking week for me.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but okay, interesting. So, and I would say you get a solid sense of where the series is going, decently
for sure.
solid. I would say I'm a bit mixed on it because, and I'll talk about that in the negatives, but um, you get a solid sense of where the series is going when he's confronted by, at the coffee shop or the breakfast place, by his former colleague who was in the Severance workspace, is now out, and kind of gives him some information like I remerged or whatever, um,
Mhm.
the two selves.
It brings
Um,
in this kind of like conspiracy element to the show. It's like, oh, there's a conspiracy, there's a mystery, you know.
yeah, yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah,
But yeah, Jack, shoot off your positives, and then we'll kind of dissect the show further.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is for me like the way that kind of you talked about the cinematography, just like the way that the show looks, but also just like the severed floor, just the way it's designed with these, like very like symmetrical like hallways with the lights evenly spaced out, like the
mhm,
all white walls, like the way that that office space is, and like the technology that they have seems, kind of like dated, like they're using CDs, and like
mhm,
they've got the, TVs that are, like not flat screens, they're pretty deep, like it's like that kind of like almost gives it like a little bit of like a dystopian feel to me a little
for
bit, with it
sure,
just
for
being
sure.
like the office building when you go upstairs and go outside looks like cutting edge technology, like
Yeah.
very much modern day, but on the
But
severed
there,
floor,
but there's
it's
something
kind of
also
funny.
weird about this show too, in the sense that like the cars people are driving are like old cars, you know.
Yeah.
Like the main character's driving this like Volvo. This like it looks like a '90s like or like an '80s like Volvo, and that kind of threw me off because I was like, oh, is this like a period piece? I was like, is this like a period show? This guy's driving like a Volvo that looks very old, you know. So there's like a weird mixture of like technology, like Jack
Yeah.
said, where you have like, well, he has a smartphone, he's driving an old Volvo, and in the office building, the top floor, they have computers, and it's a state-of-the-art place. But in the, like you said, in the ground floor, they're using these like old like monitors with like those like kind of like screens that kind of bulge out, you know, and they're using CD players, and it's like, why are they using this like old archaic technology? You know, is it because you can't hack this? Probably it's because you can't hack it. That's my best guess. The same reason why people use like old flip phones and stuff. You can't like hack or trace those things. Um, so yeah, very
Retrofuturism.
fascinating.
I think that, yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a retrofuturism that's part of the show's style and setting,
Yeah.
probably. Do I mean,
Yes, for sure.
yeah, because it's yeah, and you see that in a lot of stuff. I mean, every piece of sci-fi or futuristic thing that was made before our current era kind of becomes futuristic retroactively in a weird way. But yeah, I like retrofuturism. It's cool,
Yeah.
and I would say yeah, Severance on that note definitely falls under the umbrella.
Other than that, I think that I really liked. I think they established, some of the characters, like side characters, definitely, like the other people in the office, not really much. You kind of see, brief glimpses of them. I think like you said, you get a really good idea of like a wide view of what Mark looks like, where he's at in life, why he is where he is, and it's very believable. And then I think the fact that you only see like, oh, there's like him and three other people, and then his ex coworker are like the only ones you've seen on that severed floor. Also makes it like very believable because I think when you think of somebody getting like a severed procedure, like you would think that they don't really have any other option. And it's like, okay, well, I can wrap my head around the fact that there's
Hmm.
five people that I know for sure that have gotten the severed procedure, and it doesn't seem like crazy. But also like getting the lens on in that dinner with like, just like those, pompous kind of like I
Pseudo
don't know what the
intellectuals.
intellectuals, like, with their takes on that, and like just kind of getting, an idea of that, like that is a very controversial thing in the universe of that severance procedure being a thing is kind of um interesting. Kind of gives you a good idea of kind of like where this is kind of this is like very on the forefront of, if this were to become a popularized thing, you can tell it's, not cool. It's highly contested and controversial.
Hmm.
Um, Trying to think what else. I think like the bosses like kind of introduce themselves and are very kind of like off-putting a little bit with just kind of the way they talk, the way,
Hmm.
like he has to ask for like a handshake. They have like the board on the call when he gets
A
promoted,
handshake is
and
available upon request. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
oh, okay.
yeah, and that they're like, oh, the board isn't going to participate verbally in this. They're just
Hmm.
listening.
Hmm.
Like they kind of lay the groundwork a little bit there with kind of how things work, which from somebody who's seen the show is, looks good from what I know. Um, yeah, I think those are my positives for the most part.
Nice. Yeah, going into negatives for the episode, I would say the the ending to me is not great. I don't have a problem with the actual reveal that his boss is his neighbor and he doesn't know it. It seems out of order though. Um, one because the moment she starts speaking to him and the camera's not showing who it is, I didn't even recognize her voice, but I just knew
It's
that's where they
it's
were going.
it's yeah,
I was
Yeah,
like, what
exactly.
kind of a
It was very
reveal is
predictable
this?
twist.
Yeah, I was like, what kind of a reveal is this? I mean, I know this is what you're doing. You know, it just felt
Yeah.
like a magic trick where you could see the magician's hand, hiding whatever
yeah,
the fucking coin. Like you could see the
Yeah.
coin hiding in his fingers, and you're like, oh, it's right fucking there.
Yeah,
yep.
because I was thinking about that because my notes I wrote like who is it gonna be? I was like obviously it's gonna like one of these people is gonna be somebody that he's like in direct contact with,
Yeah,
and I wrote that
exactly.
I was like of course it's Patricia Arquette, it's like I was like of course it is.
Especially after she made that comment that's like, "Oh, he's like, I just want to punch him and beat him
Hmm.
up." And it's like then you see him like bothering her about the trash cans and you're like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a
yeah,
reason beyond work where
exactly. It's like a
he's annoying her.
yeah, it's like a subconscious thing, which you kind of wonder if maybe that's what the implication there is, that there's some remnants subconsciously.
well, I got this thing from it because I got the vibe that she is aware, like they lingered on her in a weird, like ominous way that almost suggested like she's aware that
Mm.
like that she's not severed or whatever. Like even if like let's say in episode 2 they go like actually she is not aware or whatever, there was such a clear cinematic like thing where it was like, oh, and she is not severed, like she knows it's him, and she works with him. That there was that element to that, which I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
like
Interesting take. Yeah. I didn't get that sense from it. I felt like they were
yeah.
just lingering on her because it's like, oh, it's her. You know? It was
But they
like a.
lingered on her, dude, and
Yeah.
she made like a face like, and I was like, oh, I was like, oh, you're making that face, like I know, audience, it's me, It's like
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. And I guess when she winked at the camera, that was maybe also an
Yeah,
indication
but
of it.
also the
No.
part before the credits roll where she said like, I'm not severed. It's him. I work with him.
Oh,
That
shit.
part.
I guess that
You
could
missed that
mean.
part.
Right. Right. And the part where she followed up with that and said, and even if in episode 2 it says that I am severed,
Yeah,
I'm not severed.
I'm not severed.
I'm
I'm
like
just saying that
shamelessly
for
picking at the bones of your already great joke.
yeah.
But I just felt like that was that. I watched that scene and I'm like, okay, I can imagine what the implications are here, but I would rather. I think you'd have a stronger episode ending by actually giving us maybe one or two uh, implications. Giving us something a little more like, okay, so what? He lives next to his boss. I mean, yeah, it's like a little ironic, but I mean, who fucking like what's it matter? They don't you know what I mean? Like it just didn't feel like the right episode ending. It didn't feel like something that propelled us into the main
Episode 2.
series. Yeah.
Yeah,
It almost would have felt more natural just to end it with him giving him the letter and reading it and be like,
yeah, for
that's it.
sure,
That's what
for
I was
sure.
about to say. I think the only problem with that would be you'd have to then wait too long for anything to really get going. So I feel
Yeah,
like they
Yeah.
needed that. They needed that breakfast, that diner scene in the middle of the episode or wherever they had it to kind
mhm,
of give us something. Because otherwise, I think it would have
True.
been treading water too much. But having something just as eyebrow raising as that as your ending would have been a lot better than what we got. Which it just felt like it didn't feel like the proper ending of the episode. Felt like a decent scene ending, but it was like okay,
yeah,
it felt haphazard.
yeah,
Yeah.
And that was
yeah.
my
It's
main
interesting.
issue with it. It just felt like we were treading water after that diner scene, and that's kind of an issue with a lot of TV series nowadays. Like it kind of
Mhm.
brought me back to Westworld, that first episode of Westworld, where
A
it's
hundred
like
percent. Yeah,
all right, you're kind of giving us, you're giving us like half an appetizer here, you haven't given us like even a full appetizer, let alone like the first bite of a meal. You're just giving us like here's, it's like you show me a
yeah.
commercial for the
Dude,
show. You're supposed to,
I
the first episode
completely.
is supposed to have like be a complete story in and of itself. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say I agree with you completely because how I was gonna word exactly what you just said is that it felt like the show was just like this is the show, you
Right.
know, like it felt like they were just like this is the show. You either watch the show or you don't watch the show. It's like this is the show. But the show, it never felt like the show was like willing to to give anything, like for the audience's sake. It was like like you said, it's like it just gave you half an appetizer. Like this is what you get. It just felt like that. Like this is what you get, and you either take it or you leave it.
Yeah.
you know, which is like okay,
Yep.
cool for them, but it made me the feeling that I got coming off of that episode was that I didn't care and that I would probably not watch that show. You
But yeah,
know,
because
like
besides the
like I
diner
don't I
scene,
don't feel an inclination to watch the show. I really don't feel an inclination to do it.
the only reason I do is because of how well it's been received, and that, like there's certain people that are saying it's one of the greatest achievements in television in a long time.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean that diner. Besides the diner scene, the episode is all pretty much all preamble, basically.
Yeah. And I think that it definitely doesn't do it like a service. The fact that we have the beginning and then we have like kind of Mark introduced, looping back into the beginning again and
Yeah,
seeing the
that
same
I thought
thing
that was
twice.
yeah that I thought that was poor. Like I agree with you. I didn't appreciate that.
I just don't think it was needed, and it just kind
Yeah.
of was boring. A little bit
Yes.
boring to see the same exact thing twice in a
Yeah.
pilot episode, where it's like,
Yes.
if that was something that was a couple episodes in and it served a purpose, it probably wouldn't matter as much. But in the first episode, it could definitely lose some interest.
Yeah, because it was just a perspective shift, but it didn't add anything. Like I thought that it just didn't add anything. Like I 100% agree with you, Jack. I thought it would have been better for them to just go from establishing that he was the one doing it, which we already knew because he already like walked in at the end of that scene at the beginning. He was like, "You got a perfect score," you know. Like we already knew it was him. I would have rather we just kind of gets promoted and whatever, and then we just jump to the point where he's in the room with her and we go from there, rather than
Yeah,
just seeing him like do that. Because it was like, who cares? We already saw the guy do this. You know, like
Yeah.
we heard him do this. Like it doesn't this doesn't add anything. It doesn't contextualize anything. It's just a different perspective that serves no purpose. You know.
Yeah, and
But
most
yeah,
shows would just skip right over that. You know, they would just
yeah,
cut right to him walking into the
yeah.
boardroom. Yeah. Yeah, it's like this what the so often nowadays the pilot episode of a show is like a trailer for the show. And in a way, I mean, I know trailers don't develop characters, but it's like, you kind of get where I'm coming from. It's a preamble for the show. It's like all they do is develop the characters. They don't actually, and maybe give some inciting incident, but that's it. Um,
Mhm.
but you think about some of the great pilot episodes. I'll bring up Breaking Bad again. It's like by the time the first episode of Breaking Bad ends, we have Walt has gotten cancer. He's recruited Jesse. They went and cooked meth out in the desert, got in a
Mhm.
shootout with gangsters, disposed of or hid the bodies,
Yeah, a
and
lot happened.
they have a
Yeah.
full batch of meth, and now Walt's at home, and it's like we got a lot done. Where I feel like if Breaking Bad was made now, the first episode would end with him saying to Jesse, "And you know the business, and I know the chemistry," and then it would just end. Like that's the
Scene.
end of episode one. That is
Yeah.
100% how it would. If Breaking Bad was made in the 2020s, that's how the first episode would
Mm.
end. And you'd be like, "Well, where? Well, they didn't cook any fucking meth." Like you'd have to wait
Yeah.
till episode 3 for them to even
Yeah.
cook a batch.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. Because, like you said, we just got introduced to characters and to the setting, but we don't know what they're doing in there. We just don't know anything. Like, there's just not enough. Like, they didn't show enough of this show for it to be interesting. Because this premise is not inherently interesting to me. You
Mm,
know,
yeah,
like, this is not inherently an interesting thing. Like, you have to show an execution, and to me, the execution did not make this interesting to me. It was like, oh, okay, like because even when I read this show synopsis, for me it was just like, oh, okay,
yeah.
like it never manifested into like I gotta watch this show,
It's a
and then I
shower
watched the
thought.
show. Exactly, and then I watched the show, and then I left the episode thinking to myself, like, "Oh, okay," like I'm nowhere near more interested than I ever was. The only thing that changed for me is that now I hate Adam Scott a little bit less. Like that's the biggest. That's the biggest arc for me with this
Yeah.
episode, um, and yeah, no, you're right. In the comparison that you made for like the pilot episodes, you're 100% right. It just feels like nothing got done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on Severance, Jack? Should we keep watching?
I mean, I don't know if Edward should keep watching with kind of like his no, just honestly, like
Uh,
if you're not interested, like I don't think that this pilot is like I said, like the series I think is, a 8 out of 10. I don't think the
yeah,
pilot's an 8 out of 10. I think
yeah,
a lot of this show kind of builds and is something that is kind of made brick by brick as opposed to something that's probably what you're looking for, which is just like executing at a high level from the get go, and that's
get
okay.
go. Yeah,
And but I do think Jake, I do think it's worth watching, and I think you would get something out of seeing it through. It's only 2 seasons, so it's not like the
Yeah.
biggest commitment. So I think it's worth the time, and
yeah.
hopefully get to hear if you like it or what your thoughts are on it if you decide to keep watching it.
Yeah.
Well, you know me, man. I'm not. You know me, Jack. I'm not a TV guy. So
Yeah,
it's
and
like
I'm not
it
gonna go
takes.
and tell you should watch it just to
Yeah,
say
so
you should
it takes
watch
a
it.
lot for me to commit to a show. Like it really takes a lot. And it's funny because after watching The Pit, I'm like, the first episode can still do it to me and like still like
Yeah,
rope me into a
you're
show.
off of the pit and free run, which are just like
Yeah.
hard to
So
chase.
it's hard to chase those, and so I watched the first episode of this, and I'm thinking to myself like, okay, there's a world because this happened. There's a world where I can watch the first episode of this thing and feel like, okay, I'm in this, and it just
Yeah,
didn't happen,
and the crazy thing is that anime can do it in 20 minutes,
in
and
20
you've got a
minutes.
whole
So
hour.
it's like, so you can do it, and yeah, you can do it, and that's like the issue that I always have with television. That it's just there's so much time wasting. Like there's just so much time wasting. It's like, what are you doing? Just do something with this time. We don't need
Yeah,
this. And something that I have to comment on is he sleeps in the middle child's bed, right? Like they talk about how like switching a child's bed is like bad. So they just have all three beds there for him, like the crib, and then the like like the whatever, like 3 years old to like 9, 10-year-old bed, and then like the teenage to adult bed. I found it interesting that he sleeps in the middle bed, like the kid bed, which obviously speaks to kind of his state of being at the moment mentally.
Yeah.
Um, but also, despite the fact that on screen and on paper, that's like, oh, clever, clever. Look how clever. Three beds, and he chose a kid bed. Oh, clever. It's a state of arrested development emotionally. You can't move on. Like, even though in practice, that's like a clever thing, in execution, I was like, this is fucking stupid. Like, because in any actual world, his sister or her husband goes like, "Hey man, why are you in the kid bed right now?" You
I
know?
thought he was in the normal bed. I thought it was just placed funny. I thought like the cradle was on the right side, the like kid bed was the left,
No,
and the
he was
middle
on the
one
kid
was
bed.
the.
He was
I
in the
didn't
kid
pick
bed.
up on that.
He committed to that.
I'll forgive. I actually will give that scene props because as someone who's had a very fucking stressful week this week, pretty much every night I've fallen asleep on the couch on purpose. Like there's
Yeah,
because for whatever reason, I just being in the like open living room. There's a television on the wall. There's windows. It feels safe for some reason versus going
yeah,
to like your bedroom, which is like this dark fucking cubby, like at the back of the house. You know what I mean?
yeah,
For some
yeah,
reason, dude, I don't know what the logic there is, but I'm just like,
yeah.
I'm just gonna. The second Blair gets up off the couch at the end of the night, I just stretch my fucking feet out. And I wake up with a freaking cat on me and maybe a Great Pyrenees too. But
Yeah.
so I could definitely sympathize with Adam Scott
Okay.
there.
Well, because of that added context, I will not change my mind. No,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
actually,
yeah.
because of that added context, I will reconsider. But it still stood out to me, enough to be like, all right.
Got it. What are our ratings for this episode?
Mm. Uh, 5.
I'm gonna give it a 6 just because the way it looks.
Yeah, I'll give it a 6. This is an above average first episode, above average piece of media for sure.
Yeah. And from what I can see in IMDb, like the ratings, it kind of has this typical TV show way, right? Where the first episodes are like 8s, and then the middle episodes are like high 7s, and then the last 3 episodes are like high 8, and then like a 9. Which is
Hmm.
the typical with like television, right? It always starts like strong, and then it kind of goes down a little bit, and then it ends on a really high note.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, with this show, something happens in season 2, and I guess Jack would know. Where like season 2, all the way from episode 1 to episode 7 of season 2, it's like 8, 8, 8, 9, and then at some point in season 2, episode 8, it goes all the way down to a 6. Like the rating just goes down, and then season 2, episode 1 9 goes back to an 8, and then episode 10, so the ending of the season, goes to a 9.4. But for some reason, episode 7, something happened there. Or episode 8, something happened there. Like went down dramatically. So I wonder what the hell that is. But yeah.
That is interesting. Yeah. No, that's interesting. I think also I can hear people out there right now like, well, Severance, like with my Breaking Bad comparison. Well, Severance isn't that kind of show. I'm talking more on like a macro story level. And for those,
Yeah,
I'm not talking about.
yeah.
I'm not saying Severance needed a fucking gunfight and shit. So
Mm-mm.
for the dummies, for the dumb fucks who don't understand nuance, I'll give a who just stopped listening because I called them dumb fucks. But
Yeah, they're like, oh,
yeah,
yeah,
for the idiots who don't understand nuance, a better comparison for this show would be like Mad Men's pilot, right?
yes, that
Similar
is a good comparison. I
workplace,
thought about Mad Men watching this thing too.
yeah, workplace show. But think about what happens in the Mad Men pilot. Like you get this beginning, middle, and end story where Don has to come up with this pitch to their huge cigarette company client. Seems like he has no ideas, and then he just knocks it out of the park at the end. And then there's a great reveal at the end where you're like, oh shit, this guy who's been like walking around New York just banging chicks now goes home to
It's
a
a family
wife
and
and
kids.
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a
No,
great
because it
ending.
feels like there was like a tried and true method, right, with these 2000s shows, Sopranos or Mad Men, and these shows
Hmm.
where they structured it in such a way where there's a clear objective that the character has,
Hmm.
and they give the character a win, and then they also give the audience a twist,
Yeah,
And that's what this episode lacked. Like there was no win for these characters. Like these characters had no goal and they had no win,
right.
and there was no twist that was like convincing or powerful enough to feel like there's worth staying for. So
Yeah.
it just felt very meandering. Like you're just watching people just do things for the sake of that.
I guess you can even notice like when he gets like it revealed to him that his like past coworkers like, oh yeah, here's this letter, like you need to know about all this shit that's happening at work. It's not what they say it is. He's like, yeah, sure. Like I'm not even motivated
Yeah,
to figure out.
yeah.
like
He didn't care. Like you could have cut to him listening to like raindrops are falling on my head after that, because like his reaction to that was just like, oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Like so lethargic. It's like, okay, dude. Like, all right. So yeah, very underwhelming. I don't know how this is sitting at an 8 on IMDb as like a pilot. This is like a very low, like very low pilot in my opinion. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, if you tried to build an actual story circle, like a basic story circle for this episode with the 8 basic plot beats, you couldn't do it. I challenge
yeah,
anybody. Anyone who tries to do that for the first episode of Severance, you're jamming a square peg in a round hole. Like, you're being disingenuous because
no, there's no story circle. It just felt like this episode felt like two versions. Like the first half and the second half were the exact same thing. Was just like a day in the life. Like it
yeah,
just felt like the fucking first eighth of a screenplay. It's like, oh, this is the life of this person's day. Like
yeah.
this is the life. This is the character, and this is what they do normally. But eventually, there has to be a fucking catalyst, and things disrupt. But this, whatever.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I'm giving up.
And you can
It
do
sucks.
that. I don't think every story needs to follow like any beat
No,
sheet or formula. There's lots of different beat sheets and formulas out
yeah,
there.
but
But
this story in and of itself was lacking. It
exactly.
should have followed something.
Exactly. Yeah. You're more
Mm.
likely to hit the mark if you do follow those beat sheets and you're kind of you're in open water when you don't, and some things just work even though they don't follow tried and true beat sheets. And the way I look at like beat sheets and story circles and all that kind of stuff too is people look at it backwards. I think they're like, oh, these are the rules or guidelines for writing. I know nobody actually thinks they're rules, they're guidelines, right? People think they're guidelines for storytelling. It's actually the opposite. I think people throughout history have told great stories, and then we created beat sheets as a way of identifying why those
Right.
stories worked. So
Yes.
I
One
think
hundred
people look at
percent.
it backwards in that sense. But
Yeah.
anyway, good shit, boys. Moving on here. I had a movie hot takes that I
Oh.
found that I wanted to run through. I figured this would. We got a lot of them here too, so I'll keep going as long as we want to, and we can take it in different directions too, and it can just open a can of worms. If it opens a can of worms and we want to just talk about whatever movie we're talking about, I say we go. You know.
All right.
Um, Here's one that I got. Here's the first one. I've reviewed this, so I know which ones to kind of skip and everything. But Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is the best MCU movie, and it's not even close.
Uh, Jack, you go on this one.
Yeah, that's just blatantly false.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you could probably make the argument that I think there's 10 plus movies you could make the argument that are better than that movie, like easily.
Oh, wow.
Maybe
In the
maybe
MC,
I'll give you
in the
5.
active MCU or superhero movies, like in the MCU or
MCU, I
superhero.
could give you 5 straight up.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Like off
Go
the
ahead.
dome easily. Infinity War, better.
Yes.
Age of Ultron, better.
Disagree.
Disagree. I like Age of
Disagree.
Ultron. Civil War,
Agree.
the first Iron Man movie,
Agree.
and let's see what else would be a good movie.
First Guardians of the Galaxy, I think is better.
First Guardians of the Galaxy is better than the second
Disagree.
one.
That's my
Really?
hot take. You heard it here first. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 better than Volume 1.
Interesting.
It's my hot take. That's my heel to die on in those movies. I feel when I watched the first, I had a great time watching the first Guardians, and when I watched the second one, my thought about that movie is that it is just a way stronger piece. You know, they retrace a few things, but I think they do it just as well as they did in the first movie. The villain in the second movie is actually like a great villain. Like Ego is great. You know, the personal connection that Star Lord has to him supersedes the super forgettable dude from the first movie. You
Mhm.
know, and the emotional climax of that movie, like the emotional arc and climax of that movie, where Star Lord has this kind of realization that his dad sucks and screw him, but he has this great kind of like parental figure in the other guy, the blue guy with the whistling, you know, and how the movie has those.
Merle from The Walking Dead.
Yeah, Meryl from The Walking
Yeah.
Dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so his arc, I think, in that movie is great. The progression of his like romantic stuff with Gamora, I think the movie I think's great. The cinematography in that movie, I think, is better than in the previous one. I just think it's a better movie, like through and through. I think it's a better movie. But that's me. I laid out some points as to why. I have weapons, but yeah.
No, your weapons are very valid. For some reason, maybe I need to watch the second one again because I remember I kept zoning out during the second one when I watched it. I was still a teenager, I think, at the time, or late teens.
Young dude.
But yeah, I haven't seen the first Guardians of the Galaxy in a while too. So these are both very dated opinions, but for some reason, first Guardians of the Galaxy is one of the few stories where I didn't even mind the villain being generic and flat because I just felt like everything else in that movie worked so well.
It's a fun movie.
I don't even care honestly about that villain being flat because you can. It's harder sometimes, but I think you can. There are some great stories that have just okay villains. I think.
Yeah.
As long as the villain is at least just threatening, I think you're fine. You know. But yeah. Interesting. Someone here's one. Star Wars: The Last Jedi is the best Star Wars movie. Deal with it. I love when they say that. Deal with it.
Yeah. Well, hard disagree.
Yeah. How do you even? What's the explanation here? Let me see. Ever since the original,
It's just I feel like half the time, dude. Half the time is Ryan Johnson like fanboys.
Yeah.
That just go to the trenches for that movie. Like most of the folks that I've seen defend that movie and think of it in high praise is a direct attack on somebody who may or may not be still an active listener. And one of our old time guys, Lang. This is an attack on you because I know that Lang is a Ryan Johnson defender.
Oh, is he?
And I know, and I think if I go on Letterboxd right now, I'm pretty sure that he has that movie like a 9.
Really?
Yeah, let me see.
Damn, dude. Oh, we're calling him out.
I'm looking this up. I'm calling you out. I'm calling him out like live. Where's it at?
he's
Yes,
like
dude,
minding his own business right now.
He has this at a 9 on Letterboxd.
Wow.
Lang, what's that about?
I would love to hear from Lang on that one. We actually need to have Lang on sometime. But
yeah, Lang, hop on the show.
Yeah, seriously. Someone's okay. They said here that picking up where they said it has a strong, uncompromising point of view. So it says picking up where The Force Awakens left off. Writer-director Ryan Johnson pulls from Arthurian legend, George Lucas's own notes, and the basic tenets of good storytelling to reveal why a guilt-ridden Luke Skywalker has exiled himself from the galaxy. That's just word salad, though. You're not actually explaining why it's good. I mean, you're just saying, you're just making claims here, you know? And
Yeah.
Name dropping George Lucas just to give you some credibility.
yeah, and
We used his notes. So it has to be
Arthurian
good.
legend. Oh, awesome. Oh, great. Because we all love that, don't we? I mean, yeah, Arthurian legend, it's given rise to a lot of shit, but it's like, who fucking cares? The thematic conclusion The Last Jedi reaches is that everyone, regardless of their lineage or force sensitivity, or even the magnitude of mistakes they've made in the past, has the capacity to rewrite their own stories for good. It doesn't execute on that idea effectively, though. I don't think.
Yeah.
Because you
New
don't.
Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi all better. Like it's just
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
The movie's just goofy too. Last Jedi, it's just goofy.
hell. You could probably say like Rogue One's better than that movie in my book.
Yeah,
I have to see Rogue One.
yeah, Rogue One's a little boring, but it's a very neatly made movie. It feels very much like it feels very much like a war movie from like the 60s or something, but in Star Wars form, where it's like it's a little bland, but it's very well made, and yeah, there's something oddly perfect about Rogue One, even though I don't really
Yeah.
like that movie.
No, I don't love it, but it was definitely a good movie. Like I'm glad I watched it.
It feels more Star Wars than anything else Disney's put out too, where it feels like it captures the actual serious yet light serious tone of the original trilogy, where it's like,
Yeah.
it's not super serious, but it takes itself seriously. It's like it presents itself as like, hey, this is a space opera, and we're not making stupid poop jokes, and there's no like little cutesy
Yeah.
characters.
And that's kind of what the Mandalorian felt like. It was too silly
Oh
and
yeah,
for me, and then like Kenobi was too serious. Like it was very, very self-serious.
yeah.
I liked Kenobi, but I just didn't think it felt like Star Wars.
Yeah, Kenobi was it was cool. I mean, it was cool to see Darth Vader again. There were cool scenes, but it just felt like they didn't have enough to work with, because you're again with all these interquels, it's like we're not even we're at this point in Star Wars where we don't even do sequels or prequels anymore. We do all these interquels, which take place between events. And
Yeah.
it's like, how much can you even do? Like we know Kenobi and Darth Vader, like they both live until New Hope. We know
Yep.
Luke's not going to be killed by this Inquisitor. We know Princess Leia's going to be fine. It's like
And you can't zoom in on the little characters too much, and it becomes irrelevant if you try to do that.
Yeah. There has never been a bad Alien movie. Yes, even Resurrection is good. I will disagree with that because I've seen Alien Romulus.
I've not seen Romulus, so I don't have a card in this one.
Have
The ones that I've seen are all good. So
you've only seen the first two?
no, I've also seen Covenant and Prometheus, and I thought those movies were good.
Oh yeah, Covenant and Prometheus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Covenant's good. Prometheus is
Yeah.
is good. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I guess I would agree with this insofar as no, I can't though because Romulus was bad. And who knows, 3 and 4. I do want to see 3 and 4 at some point,
I do too, yeah.
but I doubt those are good. Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is quite good, and you're just cowards who are afraid to admit it.
I haven't seen it, so I can't speak on that one either.
Oh, you haven't seen Crystal Skull?
I've only seen the first two.
Oh shit! You've seen Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, right, Jack?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah.
I don't think it was very memorable for me.
No,
I don't think it was like when I think of Indiana Jones, that's not what I think about at all. But
no. I liked the. I remember liking the ants scene when I was a kid. I mean, that was kind of cool. That was freaky. But I didn't even mind the whole idea of bringing aliens into the Indiana Jones franchise because it felt very natural with the whole Mayan or Aztec civilization, with the whole idea
yeah,
that aliens had visited them. Felt kind of natural, but I haven't seen the movie since I first saw it in like '08, so I barely even remember it.
that's kind of where I'm at, where I can't really give much commentary.
Die Hard is not a Christmas movie, and calling it that is stupid and tired. Die Hard's a Christmas movie.
Yeah, and even if it isn't, who cares? Like that's one of those things where it's like, where are you the fun police, man?
But
Get a
right.
life. Like who cares? If somebody wants to call like I don't know, now Disclosure Day out. If somebody wants to call that a Christmas movie, whatever. Who cares?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Like who cares? People can call whatever they want, whatever. It is what it is.
I just I'm not going to go into the person's explanation here because you're right. It is like it's a pedantic argument, but
Yes.
it's like,
Yeah.
do people just think that Christmas movies can only be family films or comedies?
Explicitly about Christmas.
Right. Or like, well, because Die Hard, it's like, I mean, look at something like Home Alone, right? It's a Christmas movie because it takes place around Christmas time, uses Christmas music, imagery, uh, and then it happens to be a comedy, right? Or a family film, whatever you want to call it. But it's like, okay, so Die Hard takes place on Christmas Eve, has Christmas music in it, Christmas imagery all over, albeit it doesn't use it quite as much as Home Alone does. But just because it's an action movie, is that why? I mean, it is a Christmas movie. It ends with
Yes.
"Let It Snow" in the credits.
Yeah.
I mean, it,
There's being a hater, dude. It's hating.
yeah. James Cameron has never made a better movie than The Terminator. I think Aliens is
Terminator
better
2.
than Terminator. And Terminator 2
I
is
think T
better.
I think T2 is better than Terminator, yeah.
Yeah,
And Aliens. So there's that.
yeah.
There's
Take
that
that.
for you. I like them apples.
Yeah, how do you like them apples? How's that for? How's that? How's that for a bucket of water on your fucking hot take, bitch?
Take that.
By the way, Jack, have you seen Terminator, the first one?
Yeah, I've seen the first Terminator.
Okay, great. Because I would love to do at some point. I was thinking of maybe my next pick doing a commentary on Terminator 2 because it's summertime and it's a good summer movie.
That
Yeah.
would be good. I need to watch through some of those movies. I've only seen the first one. I think I saw like one of the newer ones at some point. I don't even remember which one it
Okay.
was.
Yeah. I don't know if I don't know if it's a hot take because I don't remember if Terminator Salvation, like how great that movie was, but I do love the concept. I thought that was a very natural direction to take the series in, to actually just have it set in that post-apocalyptic world that we only get flash forwards of in the other movies. I really liked that.
Yeah.
Um,
What's the famous Christian Bale thing? How does it start?
uh, walking through my fucking shot. Yeah. Get off the fucking set.
Me and you were done professionally.
Oh yeah, me and you, man, we're done professionally. I love he's just like floundering between a American accent and a British accent.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Lilo and Stitch is better than all the original Disney classics. No,
No.
no.
Definitely not.
It's a good movie though.
What's
It
the?
is a good movie.
It is. It is. What's your like? If you Desert Island, you got one Disney movie you can watch to make the pain go away. Which one are you bringing?
Oh, that's a tough one.
It's
I don't
tough.
know. But maybe Tarzan. That's always been like my favorite
Tarzan
one.
is a heavy hitter.
Yeah.
Probably Lion King. I liked Lion King.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Lion King's probably the best. if I had to say, it's such an epic movie. Like it's just so it's like a kids movie, but it's made with the epic scale of like a fucking Greek epic film or something. Like it really is. It's an incredible achievement if you really look at that movie. For me, maybe I don't. Jungle Book was always my go-to, but for like ultimate comfort, maybe 101 Dalmatians. Love that one.
Good pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loved 101 Dalmatians. All right, we'll do a couple more of these. Let me see. Love Actually is a piece of shit, actually. Yeah, I agree with that. That is a piece of shit movie. Okay, this one's weird. Spider-Man Far From Home is the best possible remake of the Lizzie McGuire movie. Have any of you guys seen that?
I don't have like very clear like memories of that movie to be able to comment on that.
Okay. Edward, this one's for you. Everyone who hates the ending of Spielberg's War of the Worlds is on the wrong side of history.
No, no, because I'm not like a defender of that ending of that movie. I just think that that movie, people are probably right about the ending of that movie. The thing with me for War of the Worlds, the Spielberg movie, is that I think that movie's actually good at least for like half of it, like at least like 2/3 of that movie, like half if 2/3 if not just like half of that movie. I think is actually like great, like actually just great. Um, but then the ending is kind of ass. So I'm not really gonna defend that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting. All right. Yeah, because I mean, I know in the original story, it's like germs or whatever take out the aliens, which,
that's how it ends in the movie too. It's
yeah,
pretty straight through.
it is a lame cop out ending. I mean, but
Yeah,
it's H.G. Wells' fault for Spielberg wanted to make it all based on um all accurate to the source material or whatever. But it's like I don't know how it's executed in the movie, but if that's something, it's one thing if that's a weakness that the human characters exploit. That would be good writing. But when it's just like, oh, we got lucky, they died from germs, like that sucks. It's like, okay,
yeah,
so nothing
yeah.
mattered that any of the characters did the whole movie. you know?
Essentially,
Yeah. Uh, The Last Temptation of Christ is Martin Scorsese's actual masterpiece. Have you seen that, Edward?
no, I have not.
It's an interesting take.
I have not. I have not, and I think that's a stupid take. Like that's just such a stupid thing to say, because it's like people are like I feel like filmmakers are a lot of filmmakers have peaks and valleys, and they have like a lot of great films. And you can say that this is best movie, but it's like such a stupid thing to say. Like it's just what did he say that this is actual masterpiece or something like that?
Yeah, yeah.
What a stupid thing to say, man. Like it can be a good movie, but it's like just whatever. Like that's such a stupid comment. Uh,
I love how
okay,
these hot takes really just fire you up, dude.
because
It's like someone
they
threw
start
a
irritating me.
it's like someone threw a pack of hot baguettes in your ass, bro.
Because they start irritating me because it's like I'm not I don't go out of my way to like be some kind of I'm not some fucking like uh, I'm not gonna say anything. Just it's
Roll
a
the
stupid thing.
compilation for for Edward. Just roll it right now.
Yeah.
This person doesn't
Oh
seem to know what a
god.
hot take is because they said The Prestige is Christopher Nolan's best movie. I don't think that's a hot take. I mean, it's pretty, I think a lot of people hold that opinion, don't they?
Yeah, I guess so. It's not his best movie, but yeah, I mean it's up there.
I think Inception's better than The Prestige. And I mean, I
I
think The
agree.
Dark Knight's is best, but
Yes, I think Inception is better. I think The Dark Knight's better. I think Oppenheimer is better.
yes.
Yeah, and I
Oppenheimer.
think Oppenheimer is his best film. Like
Interesting.
it outweighs The Dark Knight for me.
Ooh.
You think Interstellar's better than The Prestige?
Yes, I think Interstellar is better than The Prestige. Also,
What?
I think Interstellar is like an underrated film. I think it's actually like a great movie.
Really? You think
Yes, I
Interstellar is
do.
better than The Prestige?
Yes, I do.
Blasphemy,
Yes,
dude.
I think Interstellar is better than The Prestige. I have Interstellar rated at a 7 right now on Letterboxd, and I probably am underrating that movie. I've wanted to rewatch that movie for so long. I watched the movie in theaters when it came out.
Hmm.
Yeah, I have The Prestige also. Actually, I have The Prestige at an 8. But
Yeah.
funnily enough, in my head, I think right now, I think if I rewatch The Prestige and then Interstellar, I think Interstellar is better. So I'm gonna say Interstellar is better. That's my hot take. This is an actual hot take. Interstellar is better than fucking The Prestige.
That is a hot take, actually.
Idiots on Reddit.
That is a hot take. I have them rated the same thing, so obviously you gotta adjust those ratings, sir. If this is your actual take,
What do you have them rated as?
same thing. Interstellar, I think I have it at a 7, and then Prestige should be at an 8, if memory serves me correctly. I'm like
Yeah,
positive that's where I have them at.
you have The Prestige at an 8, and you do have Interstellar at 7. So funny enough, we have the exact same ratings for them, but I actually do think Interstellar is better.
Blade Runner
Jack's
20.
like, yeah. Jack's like based today.
I like Interstellar, man. That movie
I do
has
too.
a
Yeah, no, it's
has a
good.
special place.
I
I
haven't
like The
seen it in
Prestige a
so
lot as
long.
well.
Yeah. Okay, so you like Prestige too, Jack?
No, I like Interstellar better.
Okay, no, but you still like the Prestige?
Oh
You
yeah,
said?
for
Yeah.
sure. It's a great movie.
Yeah. No, it's fucking awesome. Yeah. Interstellar, I haven't seen. I do need to rewatch that at some point. I haven't seen that in like over a decade. I think I only saw it once, like when it came out. But Blade Runner 2049 is better than every cut of the original Blade Runner. You agree with that, Edward? Seems
No,
like,
I don't agree with that.
oh, interesting.
No, I don't agree with that. I have to rewatch 2049. I want to kind of reassess my thoughts on that film. I think 2049 is at this moment in time, I think is just equal to the original film. I would say is equal to the original film. I'm not gonna say it's greater than. And if I think about the original film as in respects to 2049, I will say it's either equal to or greater than the original movie. That's where my thought is at the moment.
Interesting. Jack, have you seen Blade Runner 2049? Okay. It's not. All right.
Never seen the original Blade Runner either.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, they're both worth watching. I'm not as much of a Blade Runner like lover as a lot of people are, but I do think it's good. I kind of think 2049 is better. Although I've seen the original more, probably because 2049 is like fucking 3 hours long. But anyway, all right, one more here. Home Alone is one of the most annoying movies ever made. That is a hot take, and it's wrong.
That is hard to.
Home Alone's great, man. 10 out of 10. Perfect Christmas movie.
Yeah, I agree.
Perfect.
I agree.
Yeah.
I
Perfect.
get tired of it. I just get tired of it's not really necessarily anything to do with the movie. It's just the fact that like so many people are just like this is the Christmas movie and like I don't know. I think I'm just a piece of shit, honestly. I just like hate when people love things. But like I think it's like overloved. I think it's a little overloved.
Oh,
But
man. Yeah. I mean, I can sympathize with that take. I don't agree with it, but I see where you're coming from. I feel that way about Elf. Like Elf is just I can't
Well,
watch Elf anymore.
I hate Elf.
I'd throw up if I see Elf again, bro. I've seen that movie way
Dude,
too many
I hate
times.
Elf. I hated that movie from the first time I watched that movie. I hated it. It made me hate Will Ferrell for a long time.
You know what? You know what is a fucking crate? Listen to this though. Home Alone sits at a 66% on Rotten Tomatoes, and then A Christmas Story, which is the biggest piece of shit movie I've ever seen in my life and have not finished and never will finish, is at an 87% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm like, you
Yes, it is.
fucks, dude. What are you talking about? Like Home Alone is perfect just with the way the setup, the fucking atmosphere, the traps, the burglar. Like, dude, it's fantastic. And then A Christmas Story. When I was a kid, I wanted a BB gun. Shut the fuck up. God damn, I hate that movie so much. I've only seen 30 minutes of it once, and I hate A
I've not
Christmas
seen it.
Story.
I haven't
Oh,
seen that thing, and I don't plan to either.
oh, It makes me want to take a BB gun and shoot myself with that BB gun.
Just to
Emphasis on
inflict
BB
pain.
gun. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Took the words out of my mouth on the BB emphasis.
uh, all right, boys, let's do our recaps. Someone besides me go, because I can't listen to my own voice anymore.
I can start us off. So I'll be very brief. Um, in terms of albums, I continue my journey through the S, trying to get through this thing and get to the T's. Last time that we spoke, I ended at Sharon. No, I ended at Show Me the Body Body War. Since then, I listened to Forever by Shura, which is an indie pop album. It has this kind of like painting or like picture of like two people seemingly kind of like embracing or like kissing or something like that. Kind of like an abstract album cover. The little description of it just says a scintillating exploration of sensuality and cosmic pop. If that sounds interesting to you, go for it. I actually dug a few songs. I thought it was kind of like a middling album, like just kind of decent. But there were a couple of really great songs. Religion, I thought was a great song, and The Stage, I thought was a great song. Also, Skyline, Be Mine, which is the last song. Again, just kind of like a middling indie pop late 2010s album, but there were a couple of bops in there, in my opinion. Um, then I listened to the Icelandic post rock, ambient, and noise band Sigur Ross. I don't know if you guys have any experience with Sigur Ross or if you guys know of that band. If you have seen the movie Beautiful Boy with Timothée Chalamet
Yeah.
and and Steve Carell, they use a lot of Sigur Rós songs in that movie. So they kind of cheat because they use Sigur Rós songs in the soundtrack. So if at some point in Beautiful Boy you got all emotional, it's possible that it was a mixture of both performance and Sigur Rós songs.
Well, I did get kind of emotional during that movie, so it probably was that.
Yeah.
I
So that
think
being said, I would recommend that you listen to this album by Sigur Rós. It's the one that has like a weird fetus thing with wings. I can't pronounce the name of it. I guess it's like Aegis Bergen, something like that. It's 10 tracks and it's an hour and 12 minutes long. But I would say that every single one of these songs is great. They're all time, like Sigur Ros's like all time song is this one called like Sven G. Engler, which is the second song in this album. So if anything, I would urge you just to go ahead and listen to the second track in this album. It's 10 minutes long. And if you dig that, then go ahead and listen to the album. Um, then I listened to their 2012 album, Valtari. That looks like this. It's like a boat floating, like an old picture of the ocean. And this album, again, is just more of the same for Sigur Rós. This one's a little bit more melancholy feeling than the first one, more piano. And the best song on this one, I think, is the very last one called Jogur Piano, something like that. Or Icelandic, I don't know what I'm saying. But it's post rock and ambient, and sometimes some songs become noise. So if you don't like very loud sounds and sounds of like static in your ears, then beware. But otherwise, I would say that both of those albums are great. And if you're a music fan or a fan of ambient or post rock, I would say to go ahead and listen to them. Then I listened to Marchita by Silvana Estrada, which is a 2018 Latin pop and folk album. So it's in Spanish, but I think it's a great like Spanish folk album and a great Spanish like pop album. The first, I would say, four songs are really strong. I would give those a listen if you're curious. It's just 37 minutes long, the album. So the songs are pretty short, so they're pretty kind of like breezy listen, and the album's very kind of relaxing. So I would say for me that was kind of a strong batch of albums, and we keep going. And then in terms of something that I've watched, just to add a little spice to my usual stuff, there is a Rafa Nadal, the tennis player. There's a Rafa documentary on Netflix. It's just
I need
called
to watch it.
Rafa. And I've seen the first two episodes so far, and they're great. The documentary is great. So far, it's been stellar. I still need to watch the third episode. It's just like a mini series documentary. Each episode is about an hour long, and the first episode is like the beginning of his career to like Federer, and then the second episode is like more of the Federer years, and then Djokovic, and then the third episode seemingly is just kind of like the later end of his career when he switched coaches from his uncle Tony to Carlos Moya, who coached him through the end of his career. Powerful documentary, makes it's just like a very kind of like very hardcore look and very honest look at what he was doing, right? How he was doing it, like what was motivating him to be so competitive and the champion that he was, and also just a look at his relationship with Tony, and just a deep inside look at just how many injuries the guy had.
He's a
'Cause
warrior, man.
from
Like, I
from
mean,
18 years old, he had that issue with his foot. Where now his foot has like a lump. One of the bones is just like protruding lump. The
Oh,
issues with the knees, the issues with the wrists, the issues with like intestine. Like he got developed like holes in his intestines. The issues with the anxiety and the stress of the game. How he developed those like tics that he did on the court. Like on and on and on and on and on. And it really paints you a picture of this guy that if he hadn't been riddled with all those injuries, he probably would be the undisputed GOAT of like all time for that sport.
easily.
He owned Federer. So the conversation of who is better between the two of them is like beyond. He leads the head to head by 10 matches, and he has more slams and he has more masters. So
And
it's like,
it's also no wonder that, like, him playing on clay is like an obvious match for
yeah,
being able to play on an injury on a surface
exactly.
where you don't have like these hard stops when you take a
Hmm.
step and you can kind of slide. It's a
Yes,
lot better on the
exactly,
joints. You're going to have a
exactly.
lot more playability. And so,
Yeah.
although Djokovic leads their matchup as far as hard courts go, if Rafa was not injured, I don't know if it
Yeah,
would
I
have
don't,
played
it
that
wouldn't have
way.
been that way. Yeah, and again, that's not an ifs, and obviously the world doesn't work that way. We live in a world where Djokovic leads him by 2 slams, and Djokovic is the GOAT, and that's just what it is. But it's an incredibly moving documentary, and in episode 2, there are specific sections where they talk about the 2008 Wimbledon final, which is the greatest tennis match ever played. Um, and they have some beautiful like slow motion sequences in that episode that were just like awe inducing. So beautiful documentary. If you're a fan of Rafa, go and watch it. If you're a fan of tennis, go and watch it. And if you're curious about tennis or Rafa, go and watch it. It's great. And that's my recap.
hell yeah. I
Nice.
gotta check that out. Go ahead, Jack.
So I'll do kind of couple things, keep it pretty brief, but I've been watching Classroom of the Elite, an anime that I've talked about before. Has season 4 that's playing right now. So I've been watching that week to week, which is pretty dang good. Um, it's kind of an elitist, kind of cutthroat uh high school where like they're constantly put in challenges where they have like A through D class. The classes are kind of pit against each other in these challenges, whether it's like academic or different, other things. And this current season is kind of like a survival island challenge where they have to like complete challenges and like transverse different areas to like get points to be ranked at the top. And then there's like, some things going on with people trying to take other people out of the competition and get them like expelled. So it's one of my, I wouldn't say favorite, but like definitely worthwhile watching with it coming out, and have definitely enjoyed that. Also, there's this show Wisteria Wand and Sword, which is pretty decent as well. It's kind of like a world of magic kind of thing, and it's kind of a story of somebody who, it's almost kind of like Black Clover esque a little bit, where it's like, oh, this kid wants to be, like a magician and use magic and shit, but he just doesn't have that. Like he's wields a sword. Kind of creeping into the second season, he's kind of discovering that like he does have some like innate magic power, and his kind of childhood is like one of those shows where it's like, so there's this tower, and like after you kind of become like a certified like magician going through the college or whatever, you go ascend the tower, and like the 5 most powerful wizards, like, uphold the barrier that kind of keeps the world between like hell and like earth pretty much. And so his like childhood best friend's one of those, so he's trying to like ascend the tower and kind of meet up with her. But um I don't know. That's a terrible explanation, but it's a pretty good show if you like anime with story of wand and sword. Give it
Sounds
a
familiar.
look.
Sounds familiar. Did you
Yeah.
talk about it before? Or there was
I
one that you described that was like progression fantasy like that that sounded really fucking cool on the show. I
I
don't
don't know if
remember
I
if that was it though.
maybe I did bring it up season 1, but that is pretty good one. Other than that, game wise, I've been doing another run through of Valheim. Have you ever heard of Valheim,
Mm-mm.
Edward?
Yes, I have. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so it's kind of like sandbox esque, not quite Minecraft, but it's like a Nordic indie game, where basically it's like you start in this kind of like prairie type thing. You build your little house out of wood, make tools, and then you like hunt deer, you make like leather armor, whatever. And basically it's like a region progression game. So like there's a boss in each region, so you get different materials gathered, fight the boss, and then you kind of unlock the ability, oh, now I'm going to go to the um, Black Forest. Now I'm going to go to the swamp. Now I'm going to go to the mountains, and you unlock different material types, different crafting, different like, capabilities to like make bases and stuff. And the first time I played this game through was 2022, I believe, when it came out. And so since then, they've added like 2 more regions. So I'm doing a full, fresh playthrough of it, and just kind of really reminded me of just how much like playing these kind of games with friends is just so fun. Um, so I've really been enjoying that. I don't think I've been on here since I went to the music festival that I went to, High Water in Charleston. But one of the bands that I really liked is called Winya, Winyah, and they're a South Carolina based indie rock band that have some pretty vibey songs that I really like. Um, I'm just it. I just heard them playing. It was like the first band of the whole thing, and I was like, "Damn, these guys! I really like their sound." So, if you end up wanting to listen to them, they have my 2 songs that I think would probably be good listens. Probably "Rat Race," and then "Feel It All Again" are great songs. So, I've been listening to them a lot
I feel it all
recently.
again is their top song in that case.
Yeah. That was the first song they played, and I was like already had a healthy buzz going, so it definitely hit.
Nice.
So yeah, it was an awesome music festival. There's a lot of good people. Got to see Camp as well, CAAMP, and they were really good as well. So I would check them out, and got to see Cheryl Crow, which I don't know why, but for some reason I didn't really realize how many like childhood songs Cheryl Crow had that were just like I knew. So it's pretty cool to see her. But um and then I've been watching through TV wise The Bear. So I haven't watched any of it up until recently. So I've been making my way through it on season 3 now.
Yeah, I got to catch up.
Um yeah, have you watched season 2, I think you said, or
Yeah,
through season 2?
yeah. And then like we were watching the Knicks game last night, and then we saw the trailer for 4. Right, it's coming out soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I've really enjoyed The Bear. It's not uh it's definitely like hectic. Like there's definitely always a lot going on, people cussing each other out, like very confrontational, very hectic. But like if you've ever worked in a kitchen in a restaurant, like it's kind of a lot of kitchens are very hectic, so it's kind of
Yeah, I work
encapsulates
there.
that pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
and
very
one of my
like it's very
with
Marty
with the chef
Supreme
that
esque.
Jake knows.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's definitely the show's made. It's made like Uncut Gems or Marty Supreme, like in that similar style.
for
Mm.
sure.
Yeah, it's on my to watch list. I'm gonna check it out.
I enjoy it because it's like cooking, and like there's obviously other stuff in that, but it's like it's cool. One of my coworkers went to the Beef, which is where they filmed kind of like the original, and is like a Italian beef sandwich place. And so if next time I'm in Chicago, I think I'm gonna make it a point to go
Hell yeah.
visit. So
I think
yeah,
you'd
that's
like
it for me.
nice, man. I think you'd like The Bear a lot, Edward, for sure.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
definitely.
It's on my watch list. I happen to have Hulu at the moment, so I might check it out.
I
Yeah.
don't know. When some people are like, "Oh, you gotta watch this," my brain's just like, "Man, fuck you!" Like I'm gonna watch what I want. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
like my
I
default
work that way
response.
half the time too.
So like
Yeah.
this year has been me like unwiring that and watching things that people had said were good for a long time and
Yeah,
being like, this is actually good.
I'm also working on
When I
that.
back when I worked in sales, there was a guy. I don't mind people. I definitely get what you're saying. It. I don't mind people like recommending things to me, but and I know that's not what you're saying, but I there was a guy when I worked in sales who was like, he and I would talk movies a lot, movies and shows and stuff, and he'd recommend me stuff, and I'd be like, oh yeah, I'll have to check that out. But then he would like follow up on it like a week later. He'd be
Oh,
like, did you watch that? And I'd be, did you watch this yet? And I'm like,
Oh
I'm like,
boy.
dog, you don't understand, man. I got like hundreds of things on my movie watch list. Like,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's like the level of you know, I'm in the like mid to high range of media consumption. Like as I think most of us are nowadays. I would say like most of
Hmm.
America, it probably is in the mid to high range of media consumption. But it's like I'm like, nah, man. I have not watched that Shutter original that you told me to watch. Sorry, not yet. But anyway, yeah. To get on with my recap. I watched a few movies. I watched Undertone, which
But yeah, you rated that one quite highly.
yeah. So last Friday night, I my girl was out of town still, and I was just here by myself at the house with the dog and the cat. And I sat down when it got dark. After it got dark, and I threw on uh, Undertone because I'm trying to get through this list of great horror films, allegedly great horror films that have come out this year. Hokum is another one that I'm excited for that has Adam
Hmm.
Scott in it, by the Oddity
Hmm.
director. I loved Oddity, so I'm really looking forward to that one. But so I watched Undertone, and I have not been that scared since probably seeing Hereditary when I first saw Hereditary. That Undertone scared the shit out of me, dude. Um, and I was kind of surprised with it. Because it's kind of gimmicky, It's like one of those gimmicky things, as a lot of horror is, right? Um, where it's like, oh, it's a concept like the main girl is a podcaster. She runs a podcast, a paranormal podcast with her friend, and they do it remotely, right? So it's not like he's there with her. And they hear some supposedly like haunted files, right? And I heard that concept. I'm like, all right, this will be kind of creepy. It'll be like maybe it'll be as creepy as something like oh, I don't know, um, Conjuring maybe, or something run of the mill. That's what I expected from this movie. I thought maybe I'll just give this movie a 6 out of 10. That would have been my prediction. Undertone scared the shit out of me, dude. Um, I was in such a state of intense fear during this movie. A lot of what's scary too is personal taste, right? Um, and I think like audio files and songs like this, so the movie deals a lot with like children's nursery rhymes and things like that, and songs heard backwards. And when you hear them backwards, they play it. You might hear a message in them, things like that. Things like that really creep me out. Like when Long Legs came out, I talked a lot about how there were certain aspects of Long Legs that really got me because old photos creep me out, and that movie deals a lot with that. So a lot of it is personal taste, but dude, I'll tell you right now, if the dog and the cat weren't there with me and I was truly at the house alone, I
Yeah,
1000% would have shut that movie off 30 minutes in.
yeah.
And I, I take no pride in saying this, like I don't want to share this, but so I'm being genuine. I never, like a lot of people when they watch movies, they have like a blanket over them, on the couch. I never do that. I did with this movie. Like 20 minutes in, I was like, my arms crossed over my chest isn't giving me enough security, so I need to put the blanket on. So, if you want to shit your pants, Undertone is a pants shitter movie. Um, in fact, my letterboxed review was, quote, "Huh, look at that. Someone crapped in my pants." Um,
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, and you I mean you sent it to us too on our
yeah. And then the following night, double whammy, dude.
watched Obsession.
My girl and I went to see Obsession. Um,
Yeah.
Jack, your dad actually texted me about that today because your parents went to see it. Jack's parents went to see it last night.
I don't know anything about it, but
Oh man, that's an intense one for the parents, man. Um,
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. I don't know. I like Jack. I don't know shit about that movie, other than it seems to me like there's some kind of like a monkey paw thing there, but that's it.
yeah, yeah. It's Obsession is another one where again gimmicky premise, right? And it's a premise that's actually been done before. It's been done in an episode of Rick and Morty. And oddly enough, really random memory, but the premise has been done before in that old show, The Emperor's New School, that was on Disney Channel
I've
or
seen that
whatever.
show.
They
Yeah.
did that premise in an episode of that show. I remember because he has a crush in that show.
Hmm.
Um, so it's a premise that's just pretty much that I know of not been done in horror. So again, I was like, yeah, but I'd heard a lot of great stuff about it. And I thought Undertone was scarier than Obsession and a little better than Obsession, honestly. And that's probably a hot take, but
That is probably a hot take.
yeah, but Obsession was fucking. It was still great. I mean, I gave it an 8 out of 10. It was very stressful, very scary, very effective. Real sense of dread in that movie. I really enjoyed it. Um, to go back to Undertone for just a second, I will say I am very kind of frustrated with the reactions to Undertone though, like the kind of lukewarm reactions, especially from like horror fans. Because I feel like horror fans talk a big game where they're just like, oh, we want stuff that's subtle, we want good, thoughtful horror that doesn't have jump scares every few seconds, and I'm tired of the gore. But then when a movie actually delivers on that, it's like, oh, I didn't really like it. What was that? And it's like, well, it's like, dude, this is the movie that horror fans have been asking for. This was a great, subtle horror film. And I don't know. Sometimes I feel like people just want to watch stuff with a bunch of gore in it nowadays, and I don't get it. I do not get the lukewarm reception Undertone. But anyway, wrapping up, I rewatched The Devil Wears Prada in preparation for the second movie.
For the sequel.
Yeah, yeah, that was great. And
Yeah,
then
good movie.
yeah, that is a great movie. And then over the course of my very stressful week, I've been watching things that'll make the pain go away. So I've been watching. I watched Wedding Crashers with Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson, always a good one.
Hmm.
And then I rewatched for the first time in a really long time, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, which is a great sci-fi Disney movie from the late '80s. Uh, One thing I can say about that movie, the practical effects in that movie are beyond impressive. They're really amazing. Um, yeah, that movie is an underrated showcase of great special effects. And then as for books, I'm reading Mindhunter right now by John E. Douglas, the story of how the FBI's behavioral science unit was sort of formed, and how they interviewed some of the most notorious serial killers as part of trying to build an actual understanding of serial killers. Basis for the show. I really like the show on Netflix. The book's pretty good, but I gotta say, like, there's a lot of it that's a little autobiographical for me. Like, I've skipped some chapters because it's just like, the guy's talking, and he's like, oh, and then I met the story of how I met my wife, and it's like, dude, it just fucking cut to the part
Why?
where you interviewed Charles Manson. Like, I'm not
Mhm.
reading this for your fucking autobiography, dude. But but whatever. But it's I'm still excited about it. So, but that's it. Edward, what you got for next week?
Next week is a mystery. I'm gonna figure it out because I've looked at my movies for the podcast and I'm kind of uninspired by my choices that I have written down. Some of which you've already seen, so I took them out of my list.
Yeah, it's
So
my fault.
I'll think about something.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. All right, everybody. Well, we'll cut you loose. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week, folks.
Later, folks.
Thanks, everybody. Next time.